I want to talk a little bit more about Clifford Binding. I have never met a man that I have any more respect for than Clifford. You know, I mentioned that he was a carpenter, that he could build a house. I mentioned that he takes a class or two and turns out what I think of as really neat art. Took a woodworking class, and I know that was art. you can't make such realistic birds and those beautiful legs and on that neat frog and so on unless God gave you just lots and lots of talent. But Clifford, you know, he grew up down there, I think, really in the bayou country, but down in pretty much hardscrabble country. He gets up here, he becomes a desert man. Oh, he and I fished, and that man was a good fisherman. Well, he got to looking around and found out that, you know, you don't have to spend a lot of money to have a flotation device. And he didn't see any point in buying one of those float tubes that somebody else made. He just made his own. Almost cost him his life. He said, you know, I was fishing a canal, and he said, I saw that it had a drop to it, but he said, I didn't think it was going to be any problem. But he said, we picked up a lot of speed. And he said, I lost control, and it flipped over, and I'm upside down, and I can't get out of it. And he said, I'm fighting for my life, but he said, I could see my life was slipping, and I was worried to death. I could see Josephine, and was apologizing to her that, Josephine, I never meant to leave you. And about that time, he feels grass. He's scrambled and he's gotten over against the bank, and he feels grass, and he feels a little more, and he gets a hold of a shrub and gets out of there. Never got back in that again. And he'd really enjoyed it. He told me about the time he was out here of a lake that's east and a little bit north of Yuma, that he got on to a pretty doggone big fish, and it drug him and drug him and drug him, and he couldn't reel it in because when he tried to reel, the fish had enough power that he just sped up. He just helped speed his passage across the lake as the fish drug him around, but eventually the fish got tired and he got the fish. Well, some of his family was up in Oregon, around Sheridan, Oregon, and they went up and they bought some land, and Clifford went up and back and forth, and he built a house from scratch, a 2-story house. We visited him and Josephine up there 2 or 3 times. Had a great time every time. Shot deer in the hills right there above his house. Had a huge oak tree outside his house. He even, in building that house, did the plumbing and split shakes to put a shingle roof on it. First time we visited, he still had a log left over, a short piece of a log, and he showed me how to split a shake, and I even split one. I didn't do near the job he did, but by golly, what an experience to have. Well, then, in between that visit and another visit, he gets out fishing with a friend that has a boat that's built like they build the boats to go out into the choppy waters that come in over the ocean. And they're close enough that they go over the ocean, but they can also use that boat in a inland lake. Well, he proceeds to get the plans, and he makes a boat from scratch. Man, oh man, you've got to torque that wood, and I just can't even imagine doing it. Talented man. Well, the time comes that we buy I'm retiring at 93, and get the bug to get an old motor home, and we find one, and one of the first people we want to take out on a little spin, Josephine and Clifford. Load them up, and we go out across the Colorado River into California, head a little bit towards San Diego, and go up Ogilvie, I think it was, road. We get up in there, and there's quite a few of the cactus, the acateas, that grow with just kind of spikes. In fact, I've seen in Mexico, I've seen fences made with those, just lay them out side by side. Well, we had somebody taking our picture in front of a nice acatea in bloom, and holy cow! Hey, look over there, we've got company. There's a sidewinder snake there, and we become hunters. And we were throwing rocks at that snake, trying to do it in. Shame on us. Thing that was bothering us, and here we are trying to kill it. Well, we're looking for more rocks, and we lose sight of the snake and come back. Can't find the snake. My gosh, I'm circling that acatea, and I look up, and really, I'm not kidding you, only about 1.5 feet separated my face and the face of the snake. It had climbed up into the tree, and I don't know whether a sidewinder can strike when it's laying on a limb or not, but it didn't, thank God. I surrendered, man. It spared me. I didn't want anything further to do with killing that snake. It had me. I am sure had that sidewinder been able to strike me in the face, I probably would have died, because we were not up there where we'd had anyway. Oh, maybe not. Clifford might have known what to do. Well, visiting up there in Oregon, and Clifford in his element, Josephine wasn't. Don and I got such a kick out of it. We're country kids. We're much more comfortable and feel much safer out in the country than we do in the city. But not Josephine. She was uneasy out there. She kept the doors locked, the windows closed and locked, and we thought it was amusing. Clifford, on the other hand, told me, he said, that big oak tree there from my second-story bedroom window is a beautiful sight. He said, I hope to be laying right there in that bed looking at that oak tree when I die. Josephine was never happy enough there, and I took a picture from up there, and I hope he's got it and gets to look at it once in a while, because he's a man among men. If your wife's not comfortable there, he sold the house, and they live in a little house here in Yuma. Their health has failed enough now that they're actually living with the son and daughter and granddaughters. God bless them. Such sweet, wonderful Christian people.